What's going on in Hot Atlanta? Live from Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 brings back the hottest hip-hop radio show live from K.L.P Entertainment and K.L.P Studios. Then K.L.P in the morning with your host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas.
You know what it is? Put your hands up.
Tune in now on any audio platform.
Go.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the K.L.P in the Morning radio show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have been seeing it all over my Instagram. And yes, we are changing things up. You guys know here at K.L.P Entertainment, we always innovate and we always change things. So last week, I posted on my social media that I was heading down to Charlotte, North Carolina. Shout out to K.L.P when it comes down to it. For her comedy special, of course, Pop-Your-ish comedy special that we filmed. But I met this wonderful person in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I did my spiel about podcasting and wanting to change some things. And of course, she came up to me and said, "Hey, I heard you looking for some voices. I heard you're looking for a podcast host. You're looking for more voices on the show." And I said, "Yes, I am." And of course, she showed me her interest. We talked over the phone and we thought this would be a great partnership. Of course, we've got my girl Evelyn is here in the building, y'all.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, I was going to get ready to say, hey, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are. The spotlight's yours, E.
Yes, I am Evelyn Letitia, the one, the only, the myth, the legend, the queen of it all. I am all the way from a little town in South Carolina by way of the upstate now. And everything you just said, I met KP at Shell Purcell's first look screening. Shout out Shell. And just seeing what he did with, Shell's product and what she has going on. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. And people have been on me about, you need to be on a podcast. You need to be on the radio. I do a lot of commentary on my social media sites, a lot of voiceover stuff on my commentary. And I get inboxes from people saying, I don't ever stop doing these videos. Like, I love hearing your voice. I can sit and listen to a story you tell all day long. We need you. We need you. We need you. And it's just been a lot of false starts because I'll get people who say they're interested in doing this. I'm like, oh, and I start building a little team and then people flake. Yeah. So to know that I met you, perfect time and perfect place, and here we are not even 2 weeks later and we're on it. So I'm already excited about this adventure because you about your business and you for real. Like, no false starts here. Yeah. And I'm ready to talk. I'm ready. Whatever you got, I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, Evelyn, let me tell you, thank you for taking this journey with me. To a lot of fan bases out there, you guys know that, podcasting, first of all, podcasting is not dead. So for a lot of people who think it's dead, it's not dead. And I think it's always good to have a partnership when it comes down to having people on the show. And I always, for our fans that don't know the behind the scenes, I always, when I have a guest host on the show, I say, no, you're not the guest host. You're host number 2, right? I like to make them feel special when it comes down to it. I thank to my fans too, because I know it's been a couple weeks since we've been in the studio to do an actual podcast, but this is one of the many things we've been cooking up. So Evelyn, again, thank you for taking this journey for me. This is gonna be the new wave, y'all, right? Yeah. The set may look a little different on today's episode, but actually, when you come back down to Atlanta and we do a live thing there, it's gonna blow up really well. So to all the fan base that's been with us for the longest time now, and they say, okay, Kennedy, when you get in a host, you need a host for this show, right? And then who knows, you might see her on the 3 Generations podcast. You never know. So we had to put this thing together. I'm very excited for this. Now, E, I need to let you know of a little secret. Now, I was a little late. I was a little late to this recording today because so I had to do something with my mom, and we said, hey, let's go out to eat, right? So we ended up going out to eat, and I guess this is kind of the first topic of conversation with the podcast. I guess the question I'll ask you first, how do you feel about this generation of young people working in customer service and / hospitality? Have you ever had a negative impact on that, or Have you ever always had an awesome experience for these youngsters here working these jobs?
I can't even say that it's just been the youngsters in general. Because for me, coming up, I'm a few years older than you, just a few.
Just a few.
But,
Yeah,
but
age ain't
me,
nothing but a number.
yeah, just age ain't nothing but a number, baby.
Yeah.
But me coming up, a lot of like, those food service jobs, especially as fast food and things like that, they
Hmm.
were meant for young people, teenage age. And, I just never did any because I was in a lot of sports and after school activities.
Hmm.
And so now you have not only young folks, but you have older folks who are competing for the same positions because of the economy. What I have found is I try to lead with what I want people to give me, especially when you're making my food, right? But there's some people, no matter how nice you are, they just are piss poor when it comes to service.
Yes.
And that's a good way for me to snatch my little coins back across that table and say, you know what, cancel that order. But I have run into people who just, I'm like, if you don't want to be here today, you shouldn't have came to work.
You shouldn't
Like,
have came to work.
I didn't want to cook today, so I'm here. If you didn't want to serve me today, you should have stayed home. And
Right.
some people flip that and say, well, wait, maybe you should have cooked at home. Like, no, that's why they got the restaurant serving because I didn't want to cook at home. But I
Right.
definitely have run into people just doing too much, doing too
Yeah.
much.
And I bring that up because again, a little tidbit. I was a little late getting ready here. We
Mhm.
went, so we went to we got in there. So the Texas Roadhouse, believe it or not, because I've
Oh,
seen this happen before to a lot of restaurants, and I
yeah.
think it's bizarre to me, but this in particular restaurant opens up at 3, right? 3 to 10, which I guess it's kind of a half day. I don't know. Maybe it's their dishes are best at dinner time. I don't know. So we got there at 3. We get seated, and we had this young waitress. I don't even think she gave us her name, right? So I remember names really well. She didn't give us her name, and she was like, "Hey, which I want to drink." Like, "Oh, well, can I get this?" My mom, I think she had a strawberry. No, she had a sweet tea. I had a strawberry lemonade, and then my couple business partners came, and then my brother came. They ordered their drinks, and then she was like, "All right, I'll be right back." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, you're welcome. No, thank you, but okay, whatever, right?" So then she comes back. She's giving us a whole bunch of bread and butter and our drinks. She gives us another bread and butter and drinks. And then she gives us another bread and butter and drinks. Then she finally takes our order.
Hold on,
So,
hold on. So y'all just getting fed up on like
yes,
bread, butter, and drinks, but y'all ain't even ordered yet.
yes, exactly right. And it's just like,
Okay.
well, I think we're ready to order. And she's like, hold on. I'm like, okay, okay, okay. Trying to be, like, hey, you don't want to be the Ken, you don't want to be the Karen, right?
Yeah.
She takes our order, right? And I said, hey, I want to get, I think I had, or yeah, I ordered the boneless wings and fries. My mom ordered a steak. My brother ordered a steak. We got everybody's order in, and I kid you not. And I'm like, all right, so when we get our food, I'm gonna eat, we're gonna pay. I gotta get to the studio, I gotta get set up, I got a podcast to do. And it's been an hour and 30 minutes waiting, waiting. And that's when I had text you like, hey, what time are we doing the pod? Can we do it at 5? I know your availability. Can we squeeze that to 5?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, hey, I gotta go. Food still ain't come up yet. Waiter, she didn't check in on us, not but once, right? Like it was the only one time I had to refill our drinks, and that was pretty much it. At that time, we were getting a little bit annoyed because it's like it's getting closer to 5 o'clock. It's like, hey, I gotta go soon, right? Because I can't be late to this. So she gets her food. Well, before that, we asked for the manager, say, hey, where's our food? I need to get I need to get going. We need to start eating. We've been here for a while now. The couple next to us that got seated, they got their food when they just got in, and we're still waiting on ours. What's going on? And the manager comes out, and she's apologetic about it, but the waiter was not. And I'm like,
Mm.
okay, well, she had a whole attitude with taking our order and stuff, so I'm just kind of annoyed at that point. And then she comes over, the waiter comes over, like, hey, y'all food in the window, it's coming. No apology, no, hey, we got backed up, hey, something happened, just hey, it's coming. I'm like, that's odd. Okay. So our food got there. Everybody's food was cold. Everybody's food was so cold. And we were like, okay, we're fed up at this point. So we got the
Yeah.
manager. I felt really bad because I felt like, and I spoke, I'm more outspoken, Evelyn, nowadays because
Mhm.
working in hospitality, especially in universities too, I learned the professionalism and hospitality and customer service. So when
Yeah.
the manager got in, I said, I have a few words. And then my big brother, he never see me act. He called me the Ken, right? Because you got the Karen, and now you have Ken. I
Yeah.
felt so bad because I was like, oh man, I'm really gonna act like a Ken right now, and I was letting the manager have it because it was a big order, like we ordered a lot of food, so I let her have it. She was very apologetic, and then I felt really bad. I had to slow up, right? Because you ever just feel that moment where you get a little hot, like you mad, but then
You
you got
know
to catch yourself.
Yeah, I've been there. I'm a
Yeah.
Scorpio. I've been there.
You just get so mad and just so ugh. So I had to slow up a bit. And
Okay.
then when I let the manager have it, she got my food off the ticket, a couple more items off the ticket, and she gave us $40 off. But then on my way here, I had to reflect, like, was I too harsh? Was I too mean? Or was my moments justified of what I did, right? Because it was like $140 ticket right there because we ordered some
Yeah.
great food,
Yeah.
So it's like, dang, now I really want to. And then when I told the manager, and this is what I said, and we had one of my business partners, she had her two daughters with her, and I said, yeah, and your waiter here, she gave us attitude all day. She had that I don't give a fuck mentality. And then I was like, oh, sorry, little ones. And then the business like, hey, they heard that before. Like, hey, I don't like cussing in front of these little girls like
Yeah.
that. And then the waiter heard it and she stormed off. I'm like, oh, I probably hurt her feelings. I hurt her feelings. So I kind of catch myself on that. But we proposed this question because I am convinced that
Mhm.
a lot of people nowadays, when it's working in customer service, the younger they get, the more degrading of the quality, I would say, right? You
Yeah.
don't really see too much of the great customer service out there anymore. And it's
Mhm.
really peculiar and it's kind of scary because when you think about it, as you get older and like these young workers, they grow up and they go get another job, they might hire someone younger than them and cheaper than them, right? And you really want to think about how downhill the customer service has been,
Yeah.
right? And we proposed that question to the fan base because we know about a thing or two when working in hospitality, customer service. We worked those type of jobs before, and it's I don't know, it's just kind of scary to me. It's wild. It is scary to me. What are your thoughts on that?
I again, I don't think it's just a young people thing that's happening because I've seen some older people do the same thing, that same attitude. But
Mm.
I do think when it comes to Gen Z and those after, unlike our generation, we're millennials. Are you millennial or are you part of Gen Z?
I
I,
so I
I think
think
you're right at the cutoff.
I'm right at because I'm 28, so I might be right at the cutoff.
No, I think you're a millennial because Gen Z starts like 96, 97.
I was born in '96.
Yeah, so you're
Yeah,
you're like right there.
right there.
Um,
I'll take
but
millennial over Gen Z any day.
yeah, so like millennials, Gen X, we're used to almost like suck it up and push through, right? I
Mhm.
think Gen Z definitely will be like, what you said? I'm quitting this job tomorrow. Like they just got hired and they're quitting, or they come to the realization I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. I can just
Mhm.
go. Whereas we suck up customer service and we like, oh, I want to spend eating food right now, but I can't. Hi,
Yeah,
I want to take care of that. Whereas they have that mentality, I feel like that I've witnessed a lot of they're not as tolerant of some of the things that we put up with. So they do come with this attitude of I can leave this job tomorrow,
yeah,
right? But then a lot of them, life hasn't really slapped them in the face yet, too,
right, right.
because you have safety nets. A lot of them within parents and people coddling, and so you don't know what it feels like yet to be an adult and your rent, your mortgage, your light,
Yes.
everything is due at once,
Yeah,
and you acting up on your job. Like
yeah,
unless you are a business owner and you got your own coins that you're funneling and making, but you acting up on your job, especially customer service, that your service is going to reflect your check because
yeah,
these people are ready to tip you, And I always try to tip people. But if your service was just horrible, baby, you don't get nothing from me. From what? Like I had to get another waitress to get my drinks.
yeah.
I don't have to even get my order done,
Right.
So I don't know if it's just a young, because I've seen older people with that same attitude, but I think with them specifically, the younger folks, they have the mentality of I can quit this job. I don't really need this. So it's that kind of walking entitlement. I think
Right.
that's there's a level of entitlement there.
Yeah. And that's true.
Oh,
And I've seen it.
and I think it's a business thing. It's a business because a lot of businesses, they are not honing in on what their customer service and what that requires and what their customer base is. There's a reason why people make all these funny videos about Chick-fil-A and saying, "Oh, my pleasure," but you can never say their service is bad.
Yeah.
Because they set a standard. That business has a standard. And I think that comes down to it too. A lot of these businesses is just, oh, well, let me get this money. You know, I'm going to hire whoever. They don't care about their business standards. So then you have you hire people who give you service like that, basically. But you don't never hear about Chick-fil-A and somebody having to go off on a Chick-fil-A customer. Why? Because the business standard is there.
Right. I was looking at my mom like we could have, and we were talking about that, like we could have went to Chick-fil-A and got a better quality for
and you would have got my pleasure at the end.
Yes, with a smile.
Yeah.
With a smile. And I get it. We all have our bad day. And maybe the waiter, she's having a bad day, right? I've had my bad days. I'm sure, Evelyn, you had your bad days too. We all have our bad days. But I think as you get older, and then this is why I say young kids working these jobs, because what you just mentioned, they haven't been through working force yet. So even if you're having a bad day, you kind of have to shrink all that down and just serve it with a smile, right? Even though you tired, even though you stress.
Yes.
Right? A lot of these kids, when they get their paycheck, they think they getting a whole bunch, but you look at them taxes though. I saw that
I remember the first time I saw my pay stub when I started working for, I was like, who is FICA?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Taxes, Medicare, taxes, dental. I signed up for that. Yeah, you did. So they gonna take that out your check.
Like federal and state, both of y'all got to dip into my check. Like, God dang. Like,
so
but,
I saw
on the flip side of that, you know, you saying they're having a bad day. I get where you're coming from too. When you said maybe you were too harsh, I don't think so. Because the older we get, again, we have all these life things that we're taking care of as responsible adults.
Yeah. So
when you do have money and you want to go out and enjoy yourself and splurge a little bit, you expect a level of, I don't work hard for this money. I want what I'm about to pay out to give me kind of satisfaction back. So the last thing you want is some bad service.
Right.
I probably wouldn't have went off on the manager in a certain way, but she definitely would have got an earful about this particular employee.
Oh, she did.
I like the fact that she was still standing there, so it wouldn't know, you know, let me just coddle this person's feelings and wait until they go away and then call the manager over. No.
The
person needs to hear about their service in front of their face.
Right.
Well, so hopefully it doesn't carry on to the next, you know, table that she has to wait.
Yeah. And I was telling the manager, like, hey, you know, and I said, man, and my big brother, he was there, he got a kick out of it. Cause he I never seen you act like that. Like, well, because I've been in this industry for a very long time. So then I said to the manager, like, and I said, and as a manager, I would advise that I was giving her some points. And then she's like, okay, I'm so sorry. And I say, hey, I'm not trying to yell at you now. I'm just letting you know, as a manager, you got to see these things because you could be cut too. And so they'll find somebody else to kind of do what they need to do, whoever owns that Texas steakhouse, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot that goes into it with customer service. And you gotta bottle that down, right? You've got to bottle that down. You've got to really take your emotions out of it from work and just serve it with a smile, I feel.
Absolutely.
And that's where my point was coming from. And, you know, they're very apologetic. They still gave us the check, though.
Yeah.
They took some stuff out, but
I'm so sorry. Here you go.
That's what she did. That's exactly what she did. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry for
so
your
we took your food off and we got some things for you as a discount. Here's the check. I'm like, okay. Because we were trying to, so let me tell you a little tidbit.
Crying in tears.
we tried to get everything off. We were trying to get a free meal out of it, right? If we would have got a free meal, I wouldn't have not made a big deal, you know? Yeah. But no, that ain't
like,
right.
You know, take this off for my pain and suffering. Like,
yeah. I need some retribution for this.
And you know, and I get it. People who work in the public, like the public service industry, you do get the Karen and Kens where it's not warranted. They're just complaining to be complaining, right? But when the action and bad behavior is on your part, you can't help, but get yelled at or get some bad feedback because you didn't do what you were supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
And that's what also drives other people who do give good service. Now they look bad too because you're a representation of the organization you work for.
Yeah.
So now it's no longer, I ain't going back to that Texas steakhouse because that one employee was bad. Is don't y'all go over there to that steakhouse because they have some bad service people and everything over there. So now the whole organization is identified by that one bad apple.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Because the manager's like, so when you guys come back again, try us again, we'll make sure we have her. And my mom's like, the hell we? I'm like, yeah, we may not
I
come
would have
back here
Scooby Dooed her
again.
like, "Arr."
Yeah, we may not be coming back here again. But so long and behold, I took my phone, I took my food, my cold food with me. I was like, hey, I gotta run to the podcast, but after we're done, I'm gonna warm that back up and eat it. Recook
But
the food.
it's funny when you text me, it was like right around 4:45, maybe you said, we're coming and blah
Yeah,
blah. And I was like, cool beans as I was eating my chicken wings
yeah.
from the Chinese restaurant. I was okay, I'm good.
Okay,
I
yeah,
set up everything, before
yeah,
I went to work today. So
yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna be ready by 5.
Yeah, I
I
had to make
said,
sure, like,
okay.
hey, I might be about 5 minutes late because I had to set up my stuff too. Because my
Yeah.
plan was to be here by 4, have everything ready to go, and then bam, we ready to go. But
I was in here eating. That's
that
all.
didn't happen. That didn't happen. So for y'all, that's our first segment of the podcast. Comment below, by the way, to the viewers who are listening. Have you ever had that bad experience in customer service? We want to hear about it. I did mention about North Carolina, Evelyn, that we met.
Yeah.
And this week I was supposed to do another episode to talk about North Carolina. We didn't get to it, so I wanted to save it for this special podcast. Um, North Carolina. Like I never knew North Carolina was that gorgeous. I mean,
It is beautiful. Yeah.
you've got a lot of buildings. I so when we pulled up, it felt like I was in like parts of it, it felt like I was in Midtown Atlanta, like
Hmm.
in Atlanta. But obviously we're in North Carolina. And then
Yeah.
there's so many great foods out there. But I guess maybe I can ask you. I know you're from South Carolina, so there's two
Yeah.
different states there, but is it true in South Carolina that a lot of restaurants and stores close super duper early? Because
Mm, it depends on where you are. So
okay.
right now, I live in the upstate, so I'm in
Mhm.
Greenville County,
Mhm.
and most places in Greenville County, downtown, everything like that, they don't close to 2 a.m. Right.
Oh,
However, where I'm from a little rural town in the low country called Barnwell, South Carolina. If I go home to visit my family and friends, I know you
yeah.
better go to that grocery store and make sure you got food in the house stocked up, or you better go to a restaurant or something because at 9 o'clock, everything shuts down. The only thing open after 9 is the Huddle House, which for people who are listening and you don't know what the Huddle House is,
I know.
it's the Waffle House. But we have a
My
we have a
grandma,
Huddle
God
House.
rest her soul, she
Yeah,
loved the Huddle House. She
we
every
still have
time
the
Huddle
Huddle
House.
House.
So
Yeah. We
I'm
still have the
surprised
Huddle
they
House
got
in
Huddle House in there.
we still have the Huddle House in my hometown. That's the only thing that's open after 9 o'clock. So,
Really?
so it depends on where you are in South Carolina. The more rural the town, it's probably gonna be shut down pretty early. But
Wow.
places like Charleston and Columbia and Greenville, some of your bigger metropolitan cities, they do stay open a lot later because there's bars and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So stay open to 2 a.m. with the kitchen staying open as late as 11:30, 12 a.m. You
Right.
know,
Right. Because
yeah.
I chuckle because it was one night, it was after I think it was the night we did the screening for the comedy
Mhm.
special. And no, it was the day after. And
Okay.
it was 7 o'clock at night. And we had dinner early. We had everything early. And I'm like, man, I'm hungry. So
Yeah.
I went down to the hotel lobby. They had a couple candies and some waters. I knew they was gonna be expensive, but I had to chance it, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, how much this? How much is this bag of
$5.
M&Ms? Yeah, it's $4.20. I'm like, whoa, nope. Where's your nearest grocery store?
Yeah.
Your nearest Walgreens? Or so they had the Walgreens because we stayed at the Omni. So the Walgreens underneath they were closed. The
Hmm.
CVS's across the street they were closed. I'm like, wow. Even convenience stores like CVS and Walgreens is closed early. So I'm looking around like, oh, ain't nothing open for me to snack on. But then I saw that they had insomnia cookies. I think they have one here in Atlanta. They
I
definitely
think
got one
so.
in New
Yeah.
York because I've been to the one in New York when it's a late night. and it was a shoot night. We did a documentary, so we went to Insomnia Cookies after that in New York. Beautiful. Have you ever been to New York?
Yeah, I've been in New York. So my last time going was just last year in August. I was there. But I've been to several times. I have family spread out throughout New York. Some I've never met before. They're part of the Great Migration. You know, my grandmother is the oldest of 8, and everybody migrated up north except her and her second youngest sister. They stayed south. So I got family members I've never even have met before that I just happened to meet a few years ago.
Yeah. I love New York. New York Fashion Week. Oh, New York Fashion Week. Maybe we'll do a podcast for New York Fashion Week. Who knows? Maybe that might be something that gotta happen, right?
So one day I might be on the runway and be like, hey, I need you to come on, get this podcast.
Let's get the podcast
footage and everything.
Episode
get me walk.
Yeah, get this little quick podcast.
A little shim down the style.
So it's out of your cookies. Then they had one in North Carolina. We went to that one, and I was being a little fat. I ordered like 4 cookies and 2 bottles of water because I was just needing the munchies, and they still good even in North Carolina. But everything in North Carolina, you got to go early.
Yeah,
because everything closes early in North Carolina. Beautiful city.
Our places like Walgreens and CVS. Some of them do stay up until like around 10:30, but then what typically happens, like our CVS, some of them will have a 24-hour drive-through, like people picking up medicines and stuff like that.
Right.
But I think the pandemic affected a lot of it too. Like for instance, there's a Walmart near my house, a super center, and it used to be open 24 hours. I love that because I hate being in Walmart during the daytime with people. I hate it. I used to be grocery shopping at like 2 a.m., just in there with my headphones on, bopping down the aisles while they're restocking the shelves.
Yeah.
But when the pandemic hit, remember they had to close places early enough so that the workers could come in and sanitize everything and then open it up the next day. So when the pandemic hit, it went from 24 hours to they was closing at 10. So the workers can come in and sanitize everything to open back up at like 6 or 7 in the morning.
Right.
So now it's stuck. It's now the Walmart closed at 11. It's no longer 24 hours. I have not been able to find 24-hour Walmart in years now because of the
man.
Yeah.
I bet it's a good time when you listen to music, especially when you're shopping at night. You're in your own zone and you just listen to music, putting stuff in the buggy like, hey, I need this. I need that. That's one thing that happened to me today too. Like not at Walmart, but like you go to the store just to look to kill time, but then you start shopping for stuff you think you need. And then you end up using the stuff you bought, right? But like you go through the aisle, like, okay, I didn't come here to buy all this, but I need socks. I need some deodorant. I might need some more tissue. Like, there's a sale on this chicken breast. Let me go ahead and scoop that up real quick because it's a sale right now. So I don't know. It's so interesting that when you go to the store and you end up going there to get something that you didn't know you needed until you buy it, and then you end up needing it. North Carolina, again, to a lot of people, I would say this, not an ad, not a sponsor, but if you want a place to go, North Carolina is the place to be. We saw the Hornets Stadium, the Spectrum Center. Shout out to the Hornets. Shout out to J. Cole, even though, hey, J. Cole, I don't know about that apology thing you did. I don't know. I still don't rock with that. But J. Cole is still out here doing his thing.
J. Cole said, I didn't want that smoke. Like, let me just back on up, and I got it,
He backed up. Now, I know, and while we on the topic, I know this is getting kind of played out because a lot of people, we tired of it. All right. You already got my answer. I was going to say Kendrick or Drake for you, but you kind of already.
This is the argument. People keep saying there was a rap beef and battle.
Yeah.
I don't even look at Drake as a rapper anymore.
Really?
I haven't looked at Drake as a rapper in a long time. Even when he first came out, it's like he was in the rap bag. He's with Wayne. He's featured on people's stuff.
Right.
I would say the last 4 years, 5 years, probably, he's been a lot more pop to me.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. So like he raps.
Yeah.
But I don't consider him I don't know. I just don't think when they say who's your top 5 rappers or your top 10, I don't think, Drake. Like someone said Drake.
Yeah. So
I him more pop,
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah, but Kendrick, it's something when you can release a diss track
that
went global.
Right.
And not just with adults. It kids dancing to it. You got it. And DJ Mustard, baby, you gonna eat off that.
Yeah.
That's for years.
That's
I've
years.
heard that
He paid.
sample
He
of
good.
everything. And I do a lot of karaoke. That song wasn't out 2 or 3 weeks. They already got it on karaoke. I was like, boy, when I learned these lyrics without being able to look at them, y'all ain't gonna tell me nothing. But yeah, I definitely pick K. Dot. You know, I don't know. I'm the type of person when it comes to lyrics. I like to, if your lyrics can stand alone without a beat, like I can read your lyrics and it's still telling me something. It's informing me of something. It's showing me something. That means a lot. Like there's a lot of people who have rap songs out. And for me personally, the only reason it's big like it is because of the beat. Everybody gonna bounce to a little beat that's bouncing, you know.
Right.
But when you take it with a beat and all you got left with is da 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 da, yeah, ha, whoa, I'm like, what the heck? What's because if you Kendrick, the way he be breaking stuff down and just the double, triple entendre, like I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
The amount of meanings that one word he just said in the sentence, the amount of meanings that happens to be. The boy is bad.
Yeah, he gay. He good. He good. Now, not to say that Kendrick's not making any new music soon, but he's gonna eat off of this record for a while. I bring that up because I was gonna get ready to ask you. You said your top, not in Drake's not in your top 5. So who are your top 5?
Let's see. That's a loaded question.
Yeah, it is.
Because every time I think I have a top 5, I'll discover somebody new that I may not have listened to in my youth, but now as an adult, I listen to a whole lot more. Like, dang, that was something powerful right there, you know. And some of my top 5 has female rappers in it. You know, I'm putting Queen La in there, Queen Latifah.
Okay, respect.
I'm putting Missy in there. You know, I'm putting Eve in there. Like, you know, these are some of the female MCs. I'm putting MC Light in there. You know, Yo. These are some of the MCs that I came up with, you know?
Yeah. Did you catch Missy in Atlanta a couple of weeks back?
Did not. And I'm mad because, you know, when it comes to going to concerts, a lot of times I have not been going to concerts because it's rare that people actually put on an actual performance. There's certain people who do. Missy being one, Beyonce being one, Bruno Mars. But if you're the type of artist where all you're gonna do is come out there with your mic and 50 people on the stage with you just doing ad libs and we singing and doing more your song because you're doing this with the mic.
Right.
Money to come see that. And because we're in such a digital age where everybody got their cell phone out, everybody's not really in the moment together. This is all you see.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I'm gonna pay all this money to go get tickets while I can watch the whole thing on somebody live.
Yeah, live. Yeah. There was a saying, there was something, I think this was something, but so Busta Rhymes in my top 5. And he did, I think he did a concert at Essence Fest. And he was like, hey, put the phones down for a minute. Like, enjoy this Busta Rhymes and Split Star. Like, don't be flipping on the phone. Like, put the phone down for a minute.
Yeah.
So I think that's such an interesting dynamic now that it's interesting, but it's scary because like if there's any heap of danger, and God, God forbid, but if there's a heap of danger, guess what people are doing? That. And I'm like, use the phone to call some help.
Like, where's your sense of situational awareness?
Yes.
I have come across videos like that on like Facebook where somebody was like, it was something that happened in a airport one time where there was something that popped or whatever, and people thought it was gunshots, so people started running. Right. And this lady was on her live, crouching behind, and she's like, "Yo, something going on in the airport. I don't know what it is." And I'm like, "Fool, come on, to let them know where it's at." Like, yeah, of course, people who by nature we're curious, we're nosy, we want to know what's going on. But if your safety doesn't take precedence over you being on live in the moment, baby, your situational awareness is trash.
Yeah.
If we ever get hit with apocalypse, that's why half of the population get wiped out real quick because y'all want to record everything instead of run.
Yeah. Hey. Oh, it's viral. We're trying to go viral right now.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Because if I hear a gunshot, somebody yelling, and you know us, if somebody started running across, hey, what we running from? What we running from?
I
You
didn't
know?
ask. I ask questions once we get to a safe destination.
Yeah.
I got a breath. I'm like, why we ran?
Why are we running? And some
Why
people
did
do
we
that
run?
for some people do it just like for a funny reaction. Cause I've seen it on Facebook too, like just like people that's just like start running across them. All right, we back. I kind of forget what we talking. We were talking about something.
We were talking about concerts and people being present in the moment and how
Right.
technology is taking us out of it, you know, a lot of times.
Yeah. So, and then okay, so that's where we were at because I would tell, so my sister, my mom, my mom's boyfriend went to the concert, Timbaland, Missy, Sierra in Atlanta. I was in Puerto Rico that weekend. So I was like, dang, like I already paid for Puerto Rico, and that's Puerto Rico. You can't pass up on Puerto Rico. But when I saw Deambra's footage, because of course I'm a huge shout out to Timbaland, but I'm a huge Timbaland guy. I
Yeah.
think Timbaland is a great part of my childhood because that's who the first producer that I listened to was Timbaland. So I just kind of got, I don't know, I just kind of got indulged with his music. And then I started making music, kind of practicing from his style. And Timbaland, my sister got her phone out. She's dancing, she getting it in. Timbaland, like, hey, you, I'm pointing at you directly. And I'm sure Deamber was like, okay, Timbaland. Me, I probably would have fainted. I would have been like, oh God.
You're like, oh.
That's what I would have done.
You're like, me? Oh.
Yeah, because I am a sucker for Timbaland. I just like his beats, his music, what he stands for now, and him just being him and doing these amazing songs that just really is impactful to a lot of people. So I get very indulged with it. I love it so much.
And you saying that means you absolutely are Missy Elliott, you know, fan as a producer too, because one thing Timbaland is good about doing, he makes sure he gives her flowers, and he'll tell you straight up, without Missy, there is no Timbaland. He was like, Missy is the one who taught me how to live on the edge of the beat, how to, you know, pull this out of myself, how to, you know, he's like, the sound that Missy would come up with off the top of her head and just the stuff she would hear, how much it influenced him. So like, I love me some Missy. I love Timbaland as well, but I love the fact that he gives her props for that.
Mm-hmm. Props for sure. And after seeing videos of for my mom and Tony, my mom's boyfriend, and Deamber, my sister, their footage, they seem like they put a lot of money into that concert, right? Mm-hmm. It's been stated right now that Atlanta for them is so far. It could change because I think they just got wrapped up in Chicago, I think.
Yeah.
Chicago been real busy. But Atlanta is said to say that was the best concert that she could perform. Mm-hmm. For her tour. Atlanta had the best date, had the best venue, had the best audience attendance, had the best reaction. They had Monica come on stage. That was mind blowing right there because it's Monica, right? So I think this era of concerts is kind of a good way for artists. It's a new wave because I read some article online, Evelyn, that, you know, concerts are what makes artists, they make the most money from concerts. They're not making money from the streaming and the streaming dollars, the ad dollars from these platforms. It is the concerts because they're selling merch, they're selling tickets, they're selling the experience to go out and see this. Now, when Beyonce came to Mercedes-Benz last year, of course, my sister and mom, they went. Like a lot of my girlfriends went to that concert because they knew Beyonce was going to sell out.
Yeah.
And what was viral? You know what was viral?
Was it everybody on mute?
You got it. No, everybody on mute. Mercedes won because it was quiet. But I see on TikTok and people just screaming, and then the fans like, "Hey, shut up!" Like,
shut your ass.
and it was so. And then they were like, "Why are they yelling at you?" Well, because it's a viral moment right now.
Yeah.
It's the mute challenge. Mm-hmm. When you have an artist that can make you be quiet for a few seconds at a concert,
and not just you, thousands of you,
thousands, And we lead into that because this is the next question, because I've been listening to a lot of podcasting episodes lately. Now, when we talk about R&B, shout out to Tank. Tank is my guy. He's my go-to. I listen to all his songs. He got his podcast. He said that he thinks that Chris Brown is better than Michael Jackson. Evelyn, how do you feel about that?
Let me say this.
Yeah.
Had it not been for the incident that happened in 2009 with Rihanna, I think Chris Brown would have elevated and surpassed Michael in a sense. But I think a lot of people are still holding him to that which happened then. And of course, he had other incidents since then, but that particular one, people still hold his feet to the fire for that. So it's kind of, it hasn't placed like an entire ceiling on him or where he can go because the boy is talented, right? But we're talking about performing, we're talking about dancing. Like, I ain't never seen Michael Jackson hit no multiple backflips into a split. And Chris Brown, the way his body moves, like, Michael is smooth like butter too, but even when it comes to Usher and people compare Chris and Usher, like, Chris, the way he's moving, if he's still moving like that at Usher's age, like all these flips and stuff, the boy is bad. Now, as much as people love Chris, though, I have yet to see him do a Michael Jackson where he goes on stage, stands there for over 10 minutes, don't say nothing. You got people passing out and fainting and ambulance being called. Until he gets to that level, I will say he can surpass Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
So, like, if you ever, anyone listening, if you ever get a chance, go on YouTube. There's a particular, I can't think of where he was, but a particular performance. Michael Jackson walked on stage and just stood there for minutes. People are screaming their heads off, passing out, ambulance, people fainting, sweating. Now, mind you, I ain't never doing that over nobody, but still. I think until Chris Brown gets to that point, then we can have the discussion of, can he overtake Michael? But talent-wise, he's right there with Michael talent-wise.
Yeah.
Dancing-wise, I think he surpasses Michael.
Okay.
Because not only can Chris do everything that Michael did, Chris also can dance every other genre. Like, you see him doing what's called reggaeton. What's the other one? I can't think of it right now.
Reggaeton. R&B, pop, rock, dance hall. He does. That's how he does all this other stuff. Now I'm like, the boy, he's multi-talented. So I think he's right there with Michael Jackson. Like, I think the dancing ability has surpassed Michael, but his overall package, until you could walk on that stage and command the audience without saying one word and just stand there 15 to 20 minutes, because we know in some artists they can try to do that, and after about 2 minutes, people are like, hold on now, I don't pay a card note to come here. You better start singing something. Like, you better start singing something. Let me tell you, people pay card notes to take pictures with Chris Brown. We seen that.
Child, ain't no way in hell I'm paying Chris Brown or anybody $1,000. I'm built different. My coin is built different. I'm not saying that I couldn't do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, like, not just to take a picture and say, hey, I took a picture with Chris Brown for $1,000. No. That's your car note money going right there. How you gonna get to work?
Let me be real grown real quick. If I'm paying somebody $1,000 to take any picture with them, baby, we ain't just taking no picture.
Yeah, you doing more.
Read between them like, we ain't just taking no picture. You ain't just taking my $1,000 and we just in the pictures smiling like we in the personality picture like, no, baby, no. Well, what old boy said, bet the neighbors know my name.
Trey Songz.
Yes, because $1,000 for a picture.
Nah, I wouldn't. I was gonna post the next question, but I don't think I would ever do with anybody what I pay $1,000 to meet anybody. I don't know. No. Maybe I'll pay a couple $100 to meet somebody. Yeah. Sure, but $1,000 to just meet somebody and take a picture, I don't know.
I'm trying to even think, would I do a couple $100? And it's not me being, I don't know, because people may hear this, oh, she's just being cheap or she can't afford it. Baby, I can afford it.
Right.
When I think in terms of money, because I love to service people and giving back.
Right.
When people start talking about things financially, like, oh, I paid $500 for these jeans, or I paid 10 bands for this purse.
Oh wow.
My mind goes to, I wish I had that so I can go feed the families that need it right now.
Right.
Or I wish I had that so I can go over here and buy these kids some school clothes.
Yeah.
That they've grown out of everything they got. Their family doesn't have the money to get them anything new. And like they need food and they need, shelter. I think of money in those terms.
Yeah.
So when I hear those things, and I'm not counting nobody's pockets, people are free to do what they want with their coins. But that's how I internalize money, right? I just think about the things I could be doing
that
to
serves the community,
improve other people's lives with it.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially with school supplies. Because I saw it this morning. Buses, they're back in session, and all the kiddos, they climbing on the bus, getting ready for school.
Yep.
It's an interesting dynamic because it really got me thinking when I was a kid going to grade school, and my parents, they had 5 kids. There's 5 of us. So they had to prepare school clothes and book bags and supplies for 5 individual kids, like 2 in high school, 1 in middle school at the time. Me and my little brother, we were in grade school, elementary school. So it's a lot of money that goes into it. And I think I've now been a little bit more appreciative of what my parents have done, because it was easier back then. Like, it was hard with 5 kids, but it was a little easier than, let's say, in today's economy, today's standard, where
absolutely.
Everything is so expensive. And I think a lot of organizations should be able to fund programs where, and there's one here in Atlanta, is they had the back to school bash. And at your local fair in Gwinnett County, shout out to Gwinnett, but Gwinnett County, they do where they had a back to school bash at the Gwinnett Fairgrounds, and parents would come up. And I've seen on social media like the impactfulness of this for parents who really just they're trying their very best. Rent is up, Georgia Power bill went up, everybody's Georgia Power bill went up, right? Astronomically, right? So parents are really struggling to get the school supplies that the kids need. And then they have the school bash, and they're giving away book bags, and then they're also taking donations too. I think we're in this society where there are some good people that give back. Me and my family in particular too, we give back, but then there are also families who do not give back, right? They don't give back. And to a certain extent, I kind of agree with that too, because let's say for homelessness, for me, I don't like to give money if I know that they've been, doing the harsh drugs. They say, hey, I need $5 to get a hamburger from McDonald's. I'm like, okay, let me go to McDonald's and get you 2 hamburgers. And just to see what that reaction's like. Because if they take it, then I know they're sincere, they're hungry. But then again, you still have to watch out for it, because you give them $5, they may not go buy that sandwich that they need. They might go use something else with it. So it's just kind of it's an interesting dynamic now that people are good people, hard spirit people that give back, but then you also have people who don't, because they really, I don't know, a lot of people are just very like clenching their pearls when it comes to money, and they don't want to.
Well, and I get it. You want to be protective of yourself, your resources, and things. You work hard. For those of us who do have something, you work hard for it. And I often say, I will give to those who are in need. I don't give to the needy. Because a lot of times the needy are people who they got everything they need. They just want it and they're being greedy. Versus people who are in need, who have been struggling. They're trying their best to just try to stay afloat, and life is just stumping them down.
Yes, life
help those people. But and I used to think at the same time, I don't want to give them money or something and they don't use the resource appropriately. But I don't know if you believe in this. I believe in energy and karma transferring.
Oh, absolutely.
What are you doing this in the universe? Yes. And I believe if you put all that good energy into the universe, it comes back to you. When I truly doubling down on that, I give out of now when I give, I give with an intention of, I want you to use this to help yourself today, whether it's food, whether you need toiletries. Once I give that to you, what you choose to do with it, that's on you. But my karma has been set forth. I pushed out that good karmic energy, and I knew it'll come back around full circle, regardless of what you do with this blessing I just gave you.
Right.
I did it in sincerity. I did it with positivity. That's going to come back in another way. I had someone reach out to me more recently, and this was a day I could help because I've been financially just kicked around the last year and a half. Ever since I got in a car accident, I didn't cause it, but it just started this trajectory of pulling my funds down until I could get that situated, with legal.
Right.
And so I had it the other day that someone reached out to me and asked, for a little loan to get something to eat. And I doubled that. And it was like, I'll pay you back there. I said, no. Don't worry about it. I said, because I never know when I'm going to need you in this way. But instead of paying me back, pay it forward.
Right.
Somebody who's struggling, who needs a meal tomorrow or the next day. When you get your check, you make sure you pay it forward.
Yep.
And I think we would be better off as people if we had that thinking versus just me. We're a society of so many me's now. Empathy is so lost in the sauce. People can't recognize it.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
It's like sometimes you trying to empathize with people and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry tonight. Oh, you being funny? You trying to be funny? I'm like, dang, empathy is that low that you don't even realize. I'm like, I'm trying to, relate to you. Like you taking that joke because that's what we are with empathy in the society.
Yeah. That's true. I do believe, I agree with you. Karma, let me tell you, karma is something. That's why I try to prevail my good karma every day, because karma is something. If I've done, and it's rare, super rare, but if I've done karma and then something else happens to me bad, like, okay, well, I did do this earlier. So, I mean, karma is coming back to me.
Karma's gonna come back good or bad, and it's gonna come back like period, poo.
Yeah, it's be like,
it's like karma pop up.
Karma said, "Oh, you for real? Okay, bet." That's what karma do. So that's why I say you got to have good karma, and I always say you have to. I do say that you have to have good karma and just treat people with grace and with respect. And that's why early in the podcast about my Texas steakhouse story today, I had to do some reflection because, like, okay, I don't know, was that right? Was that justified? Because I always got to remember that good karma comes around. And I think now I'm realizing that now I've been trying to prevail more good karma now, because I've had it to where someone few months back, my last employment, gave me bad karma and bad mental health and physical health, and it just wasn't right. But then 3 months later, I'm talking to my old colleagues at my last employment, and they're like, hey, this is going on, this is this and that and the third. I'm like, well, ain't that something, how bad karma prevails itself back onto the same person that gave that bad karma to me, right? So I don't know, it's interesting when it comes down to that. But good karma all the way. My next and last segment, because I know we won't want to go too long. But
I got a good 10 minutes.
You got a good 10 minutes? Okay.
Yeah.
This is the last moment here. Now I say this with grace, Evelyn. And I'm not
Lord.
I'm not a creeper. But when I got your Instagram,
now I'm very interested now. It's not a creeper.
I got your Instagram.
Okay.
And I noticed you're a fitness person. Now, I don't know if you see my Instagram, but I'm huge into fitness. So I wanted to know what made you start your fitness journey. Like, I'm always interested to know somebody's fitness story.
Well, people on this end of the spectrum, with Evelyn, Letitia, and everything, which, by the way, is my legal first and middle name, right?
People plug that up.
People think that I made up Letitia or some French last name. Like, no, that's actually my middle name. Yeah. But people who met me on the entertainment side don't know me since childhood. I've been an athlete since I was 3. I played year round. Basketball, softball, tennis. I played rugby in college. So I've always been an athlete. And it wasn't until probably the last, I would say 4 or 5 years that life just started lifing. And it's, my knees or my back. I've been in several car accidents that just caused it. So it seemed like every time I would try to keep my health going, something would just knock me back down, right? So I've always been someone who's been in the gym or playing pickup basketball. Like right now, I just signed up to play co-ed flag football. So I'm on a flag football team. So I've always been active and behind the scenes. People who know me have seen that. But I decided to start just sharing some of my journey, especially I was in a car accident in December of 2022. It threw off everything. Like I said, my financial trajectory, my fitness journey, everything just threw off. For like probably 4 or 5 months, I could barely walk, long, like maybe more than a minute or two. My back locked up. I could barely stand or sit for long periods of time. So all the weight that I lost, I put back on because I literally was eating, sleeping, muscle relaxers. That's all I could do, and I was just putting this weight on. But I have enough sense about myself to know the way you get this pain down is you got to get back up moving. Got to get this extra weight off. It's putting more pressure everywhere. So I started getting back on my fitness journey, and the same way people will inbox me about my different videos I post, tell me how much of an inspiration I am. I said, so why don't I just bring people along with me on this journey? So when I can, I would put fitness stuff in my IG story, but then after 24 hours, it disappears. So you don't see it unless you're following me.
Right.
So I did one the other night. I was like, let me post this one on my actual page because I found that audio that he was talking about, and I was like, oh, that's so true. That's so true. And he said everybody, and I think it's Dion that may be speaking in the end of that. He says everybody was created equally, that some men just work harder. And he talked about, consistency, and also you can't be mad at people who are not buying into your dream if you're not really buying into it yourself. Right. Why they have to pay for your dream is your dream, and you're not even putting forth the energy and everything. So I'm like, there's goals I have, fitness goals, goals in this industry of entertainment. And I was like, Evelyn, it's time to focus down, and meeting people like you who are on that same wavelength doing the things that I want to do is just that's how it all came about. I've been doing the fitness thing for a while. So let me start posting more of it on my site. So that's what it is, And you if you was looking at that, you saw the thickness.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. Yeah, we gotta ask her about that on the podcast, cause
and of course, anytime I post something, I'm like, because I've always been athletically curvy, but like more muscular. So I've always had curves. But even now, when I tell people, I say, yeah, I need to lose some more weight to get, to tone up, and I'll get it from everybody. Girl, what are you talking about? You look good. You fine as fuck. You this. I was like, well, I know all that.
Yeah. I like that comment. It's like, I know all that.
I know all that. But I'm like, but I'm at my healthiest when I'm at a certain size. My knees feel better. My back feels better. I sleep better. I have more energy, and so like I tell people, I was like, me losing weight and toning, it has nothing to do with vanity, baby. She looked good at any size.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, you better ask somebody, but I'm just for health reasons. It makes sense for me.
Yeah, it does. And I tell to a lot of our viewers, working out is so important because like you, I've been sleeping better. I've been more active, sleeping better, being able to move better before. And then my brother, so I go with my little brother all the time to Crunch and Snellville. Shout out to them, but Crunch and Snellville, and they walked by and they were like, you're like, all right, Lucas, you look good. I see your muscles is muscling right now. Okay, I see you, big bro. Like that's an inspiration for me. Yeah. And my little brother, they got me into the gym before anybody. And when I started to do it, they took a break, and then I became more obsessed with it. And then they said, okay, let me go back to the gym because my big bro's getting swole. I need to get up to that standard too. So it just kind of is a good mechanism to that as well, because working out is so important, especially when you have a family background with family members who might have been sick or might have had diabetes or have been in some health conditions, and it runs anything that your grandparents or your great grandparents have endeavored. It runs in the family, right? Yeah. So I'm just trying to beat that odd of let me be the odd one to not inherit that, right? Yeah. Because it is unhealthy. And to see the transformation for people who work out. They look their best. They look fine doing it. You know, they look really good. It's just very impactful. And I honestly do think everybody should try the workout game, right?
Yeah.
And if it's not for you, maybe you have to find maybe a better eating habit and a better standard there. But like working out is the best thing right now. It's the best thing since
And
sliced bread.
people hear workout and think you have to go in there and lift weights.
No.
Working out can be as simple as taking you a 30-minute walk each day.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, taking a 30-minute little brisk walk every day, you will notice the changes in your body.
Yeah.
That is eating something balanced. And then you said something about, family members like grandparents having stuff and stuff that's passed down. A lot of people say it runs in my family. Oftentimes, it's not that diseases runs in the family; it's poor habits runs in the family.
That's true.
And we, especially as a community, until we get really like, honest about that, these things are going to continue to cycle through. Because in my family, there's definitely, diabetes and high blood pressure and heart disease and stuff like that. But then when you go to a family member's house and you eating, or you at the cookout and everything is fried or pork, or there's no real balance on the plate, then you see why it keeps running through the family. People eating and just sitting down, don't want to get up and walk or do nothing. Yes, it's going to keep running through the family. So sometimes it's not so much as the disease process is something that's genetic, it's more of it's a bad habit that's being passed over and over. Well, my grandmother ate like this and her grandma before her. And I'm like, yeah, and look how short they live.
Yeah.
Or look how many, diseases they had to live with and try to cope with,
Right.
Like it's amazing to me how we will prioritize tradition over being healthy.
Yeah. Now, every time I eat, I got to stand up. I need to go for a walk, or I need to do something. Luckily, when I work, if I'm working on a project, I'm standing. Or if I eat, okay, let me take a break from the project. I'm done eating. Let me go for a stroll. Right. I need to make sure my food is digesting the way it needs to. Right. Because when it digests well, then you kind of poop well, right? And you want that, right? That's healthy. There's nothing gross about it.
Like a lot of people who have these big guts, it's not because they have a whole lot of fat.
Yeah,
a lot of times is you built up with a bunch of shit. Bunch of shit in there, and you clear out.
You need to clear on, need some fiber.
Yeah,
fiber in you.
I intermittent fast, so that definitely helps for me. I have an 8-hour window that I can eat in, and while I can eat anything in there, I do tend to eat more like low sodium. I stay up for a lot of sweets, but then I have to fast for 16 hours. During that 16-hour fast, I can drink as much fluid as I want, right? I just don't drink anything that's high in carbs, but drink as much fluids as I want. And that keeps that allows my body to really heal itself during that 16-hour fast and flush out the stuff that's in my stomach.
Right.
So it starts to like, you look the next thing like, oh, I don't look bloated no more. Because stuff is passing through the way it should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of water for me. I hate it when I drink like 5 bottles of water before I go to bed. I mess up because at 3 o'clock I gotta go to the bathroom. I get up and then so in our house, our house is very nice, but my particular bathroom is downstairs, so I would have to go downstairs, and I'm already half tired. It's dark at night. I almost tripped and fell because I'm tired, sleepy, but I really have to pee. So, and then the stairs creak, so I have to be quiet, not wake the cat up, So it just, I don't know. I mess myself up with the water at night, but water is the best thing since sliced bread. I encourage everybody to stay hydrated, especially when we just had a hot summer. Like hydration. So. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you about your fitness goal, your fitness journey. That is, I see it. I think a lot of people should be motivated to it. What last question? What kind of gym? What gym you go to?
Well, right now I go to Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness.
I'm gonna be real honest. Hopefully they ain't watching this. But like I said, financially, I went through a whole lot with this car accident I was in that couldn't really even afford to add any new bills. So even though Planet Fitness, you can get that little membership at like 10, 15, whatever dollars. My homegirl has the black card, so she can bring in a guest with her. So I started, when I was finally able to get back in the gym, which was like last October, I started going to work out with her as her plus one. Gotcha. And she ended up having to have surgery on her foot, so she couldn't work out for a while. So she screenshot her little QR code.
Right.
And she sent it to me, so I can keep it. And I was like, girl, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna go back the one over here where I live and see if it'll scan. Yeah. And so I went in there. The thing is, you gotta act like you're supposed to be there.
Right.
Some people give themselves away because they be looking suspicious when they walk in. I walk in, my headphones on. I already got it pulled up on my screen and enlarged. And I scan it and keep on going. I was
keep
like,
on going.
It worked.
Yeah, every time we get, because I go to Crunch, every time we come in, here come Kennedy. Here come Ryan and Kennedy. All right, come on. Y'all know, y'all need y'all Celsius. We got y'all's flavor. We feel like celebrities in there.
Yeah, I told her the other day, I said, I need to give you $10 for since October up to now, $10 for every month that I've been going. She said, girl, please. No, you don't need to give me no $10. Like, and have people in your corner like that who look out for. She knew what it meant for me to be able to get back in the gym and work out because, again, I had been struggling with my back and stuff. I'm finally able to get back in there, and she knew I was struggling financially at that point. She said, "No, you girl, at least I know it's getting put to good use because she's still working too." But she's like, "Go ahead and go over there, because with the black card, you can go to any of the Planet Fitness."
Right.
So it works out great,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I go Planet Fitness. And then again, just staying active. I do yard work at my house. I'm hanging stuff. I'm about to redo my deck myself. I'm getting quotes, and the numbers they've been giving me was like, hell no. So I was like, let me go ahead and go to home. Let me quit playing and go to Home Depot and get this stuff and redo this deck myself.
Right.
Yeah, they about to make me do something strange for some change because I'm like, I ain't got it. I ain't got it right now, boo. So let me do it myself.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I just one last Planet Fitness is good, but Crunch just got something spectacular. So I got.
That's the thing. If I find somebody who got a Crunch thing and they want to let me go on it, I definitely would go because I saw they just built a new one here in Greenville. And I looked at the virtual video they have of the space in there. Oh, they got an area where you can push the sled. They got all this and fitness rooms. Like they got the dance room, the mirror. I said, I would love to go and do some of that. But for now, Planet Fitness is getting me where I need to be.
Getting you where you need to be.
My own membership.
Shout out to One Athletics. That's the one in Charlotte. I've been to that one and it's like in the area of the Omni Hotel is One Athletics. Worked out in there for a day. That was pretty nice. And I mean, I'm always gonna rep Crunch because that's my favorite, but One Athletics is pretty good too. So very, very nice gym. When I went in there, they was like, yeah, you can't record. You can't record. You can't be on the phone. If you got to take a phone call, you got to step out. I'm like, oh, you guys are exclusive because that doesn't exist in Crunch. So, but shout out to all the good gym goers. We're gonna wrap this podcast because Evelyn, we are recording over 1 hour, 1 hour and 7 minutes.
You know what? That just means it's great stuff to come up because we got stuff to talk about.
We got some more to talk about. But we're gonna wrap up this episode to our fan base. Thank you for staying tuned, Evelyn. Thank you so much for being part of this journey. This has been fun.
Excitement is all over me right now.
Excitements. For all the people who are listening, and look here now, I got to pay my bill now with the sponsor. Of course, this podcast was brought to you by Shell Purcell's Pop Your Ish comedy special. By the time you listen to the podcast, they would have done the screening in Raleigh, North Carolina, but rest assured to all the people who were not able to come to the actual screening at Cinemark, it's going to be coming to streaming platforms very soon. So just stay tuned for that with the news when we get announced for that as well. And this podcast is also sponsored by K.L.P Entertainment and K.L.P Network. Of course, the media company that brings you all the movies. To all my fan base, my new movie, The Photographer, will be coming out very soon. So stay tuned for that as well. We've got some greatness. This is not just the only episode that Evelyn's going to be on. There's going to be next week and the next week after that. And the next week thing is going to be very, very spectacular. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, of course, stay swanky, drink plenty of water. We'll see you guys back here, K.L.P in the Morning Radio Show.
Deuces.
Go! What's going on in Hot Atlanta? Live from Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 brings back the hottest hip-hop radio show live from K.L.P Entertainment and K.L.P Studios. Then K.L.P in the Morning with your host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas.
You know what it is? Put your hands up.
Tune in now on any audio platform.
Go.